What's up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to That's a Shoot. This is my weekly episodic show where I talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. Normally on Fridays. Today, it's a Saturday episode because it's the predictions episode, and we will be predicting the matches of the 2021 Royal Rumble. Last year, I decided to start doing predictions for all of the WWE pay-per-views, and I had a spectacular year, a year that I thought I was never going to have predicting um, WWE. And who knows, maybe that was because of the pandemic and some other things, or maybe it was just because I was just good at it. And who knows? But I had a fantastic year, and we'll talk about that in just a couple seconds. But this year is going to be the same thing. We will predict the matches that are um, at least that have been announced at the time of at the time of the recordings, and um, we're going to do something also a little bit different this year as well. It's not only predicting the matches, but we're going to add on. We're going to have a question. You know, something like we would do something like this or something like this. How long will this go? Something like this. Something like this that I can predict and have that as well. So we're adding just a little something to the twist of the predictions this year, and so I think it'll be a fun thing. Please play along, count your predictions as well, and we'll see who's best at the end of the year. Right now, let's go ahead and let's jump right into the predicting. So at the end of 2020, I was 88 and 33 in predicting what would go down on the pay-per-views. So let's see if I can continue this year. That great streak. That's it. Damn, that's pretty good. That's 5,500. Wow. Okay. So let's start off with the SmackDown Women's Championship. Sasha Banks versus Carmella. Um, they had a match at last month's TLC. They went the way of Sasha Banks, and this is um, and, and they went a strange way in getting Carmella her rematch. Sasha Banks had to wrestle this Malia Reginald to do so, but okay, whatever. So now Sasha Banks versus Carmella. Listen, I think Carmella just has, you know, he's had a fairly good run from coming back here. I do think that you know one of the things that I hate about this um, brand split is that the fact that they do for some odd reason continue to have rematches and matches. We're gonna talk about the match later on, which is the third friggin' match in a row, and I really don't care about wrestling multiple times. I think that's awesome. It's a feud, but I also think that you know, it should be broken up within a certain amount of time. There should be some other matches in between. One of the also things is like this is so month after month after month. This is one reason why I think WWE needs to get rid of the every month pay-per-view thing, because it's now we're having matches month after month after month. You know when if it was every other month or something like that was a pay-per-view. It wouldn't make a difference. It would make a difference. So, but anyway, um, yeah, I don't see them taking the title off of Sasha Banks. I think he's going to hold it until WrestleMania, and she's got a lot of competitors to fight. So yeah, I'm down with Sasha Banks on this one. The women's tag team championship match is on the line. It's Asuka and Charlotte Flair take on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. This one is this is a very interesting one. because all three are also going to be well, not all three. Charlotte Flair, Nia Jackson, and Baszler are also going to be doing double duty as they're going to be into the Royal Rumble match as well. So, um, who knows the story that they're telling right now with Charlotte Flair. You kind of thought when Charlotte Flair, when they come back, you kind of thought the story they would tell would be that Charlotte Flair and Asuka would be they would be the tag champions that would have to wrestle like at WrestleMania. I guess Charlotte would win the title and everything like that. So it's I don't know, but they've gone down a strange rabbit hole of weirdness with this. So I just don't know what's the way they're going to go. I think what's best is probably to put the titles back on Nia Jackson and Shayna Baszler. That's probably the best way. But I don't know. I'm going to say that Nia Jackson Shayna Baszler wins because I think of what's going to happen later on in the night. So I'm going to say Charlotte Blank and Charlotte Blank. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler wins and regains the women's tag team champions. In the last man standing match for the Universal title, Roman Reigns takes on Kevin Owens. Another match that, well, this necessarily hadn't had. This is probably actually the fourth match, isn't it? So didn't they have a regular match or something like that? And then they had the PLC match, and they had the steel cage match on Christmas. Now they had this one. So yeah, again, whatever. Um, and this is the one I'm most absolutely sure about. It's Roman Reigns. I mean, at this point, I think it's stupid, to take the title off of Roman Reigns right now. Even though there might be some things that they wanted to do that they're not going to do, and they seemingly can't do for a couple years. In particular, the head of the, head of the table storyline, and he ended up with him and The Rock in WrestleMania. All of that being said, and all that, something like this. I don't think that, you know, I don't think Roman Reigns needs to have the title taken off of him. I don't. I don't think it needs to be. I don't think it needs to be for a long time. I really don't. I just don't. You know. I think and I did this in a video. I talked about this, in my last video, how Roman should lose the title. I think Roman should have a lengthy title reign that involves, 2-3 years and 700 some days and things like that when it comes down to it. So and I would also say that maybe if he wanted to, if he wanted to, if he were to lose the title, he should probably lose it at Mania of this year and then regain it back at SummerSlam and then go ahead and start back and doing it that way. So that you can have it at SummerSlam and then he could, go through 2022 and 2023 when they're in Hollywood. It could be him and The Rock or something like that. But whatever. This seems like it seems like there's only two options for this match. It's Roman Reigns or it's a double count out. With neither man getting up at the count of 10. So I don't think Kevin Owens is winning this. So the winner should be for the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre takes on Goldberg. Now the wrestling community is shitting its pants, wondering if Goldberg is going to beat Drew McIntyre. For me, I'm not worried. It's not because that I feel like Drew McIntyre is, I don't want Goldberg to win. Goldberg wins fine. I know what they're doing. They're building up to a big time match, and that's totally fine. I like that. And I'm totally fine with that. I think that again, these fans are, you know, they can't just sit and enjoy what's going on and enjoy what's happening. They have to, it has to be about About to be about them. And not with this and the story that they're telling, not the story that you want them to tell. So that's you know, fans need to understand that. That being said, I am torn because I do think that having Goldberg winning the WWE Championship would be awesome. I think that would be cool. Um, but I don't know. I think if Drew McIntyre if Drew McIntyre didn't have the blip on the screen with Randy Orton, if he didn't have the blip with that, um, I would say that Goldberg would win. But I think this is I actually think what they're doing is because Goldberg is scheduled for two matches a year, and I think what they're doing is they're just getting Goldberg matches out of the way. Here at Royal Rumble and then at WrestleMania, he'll have a match as well. So I think Drew McIntyre wins and he retains the WWE. Now, the 30-woman Royal Rumble match. Who will end up being the winner? Let's take a look at some of the favorites to win. We have Charlotte Flair. We have Alexa Bliss, who's been doing this thing with Asuka recently. She's out of some kind of nowhere become a favorite. There's Bianca Belair. She's had a chronicle. She's been a prominent role on television. For the last several weeks. So I think she's out there. Yeah, of course, I think there is Rhea Ripley, who we have not seen since her last women's standing match with Raquel Gonzalez on NXT. She makes a whole lot of sense. And then, of course, I think there are a lot of people thinking maybe with her contract ending in April, that Ronda Rousey is going to make a surprise return, and that she's going to become and win. So there's a nice group there of five that could win, and we could also get a big surprise. Um, all of those make sense. All of those are so good, but I do think that they're heading somewhere down the Charlotte Flair ramp. I really do. I think that she is back, and she is back for one reason only, to give star power to be a champion and to be the baddest woman in the world. So um, yeah, like I said, I had Asuka and Charlotte Flair lose the titles because I think Charlotte Flair is going to win the Royal Rumble. So uh, back-to-back years, just like Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels. The third person to do that would be pretty awesome. So, right, I think she would be the only third person to do so. No, she'd be the fourth because Hulk Hogan did it. Hulk Hogan did it in 90 and 91. Uh, and then Michaels in 95, 96. Austin in 97, 98. Yeah, and then Flair would do it in 20 and 21. So there you have it. Winner Charlotte Flair. The 30-man Royal Rumble match is next. And if we look at the favorites in that one, you've got a recently added Edge. He can come out of nowhere and win it, right? Especially if you think he could win it. There's Randy Orton. He's something special. There was always a talk that it was going to be Edge and Randy Orton, and I still can go down that right somehow. Um, if you believe like some of the things that people have come up with that maybe Goldberg would win, then you would have Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, right? Brock Lesnar could be a surprise entrant into the Royal Rumble. On SmackDown they've been doing Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura has getting a lot of face time, which I enjoy. Um, Daniel Bryan is one. Big E was a big favorite at one point as well. but he won the Intercontinental Championship. So I'm not sure about that. And then also Bobby Lashley from Raw. I thought he was a favorite at one point, but he's been working with what's his face, Matt Riddle. So I don't know if he's a favorite as well. So we've got about eight or nine guys here who can, you know, jump up and win the Royal Rumbles. Um, Not to mention if they do the thing where Drew beats Goldberg and then Goldberg can go back in and be in the match, and then he would go on and face Roman, at the WrestleMania. Um, again, this is a tough one. Last year, a lot of people thought it was going to be Roman Reigns, but I thought the way that Drew McIntyre came on, it came up. Um, yeah, Drew was going to, I just thought Drew McIntyre, would win. I just had that feeling. And I just had a feeling um, that Daniel Bryan, well, is been selected, unless it's a last minute change again, like apparently last year it was supposed to be Shayna Baszler, and then like the night before they decided to go with Charlotte Flair because of the stuff that she was been promised. So I don't know if they promised anybody anything, but I just feel like that they've made it that it's going to be, you know, you know Daniel Bryan. At least that's how it just feels like, even though they've given some other people some shine as well. So I just think that's what it's got to be, right? It's got to be Daniel Bryan. And that's what I'm choosing. The winner of the men's Royal Rumble match will be Daniel Bryan. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that this year, along with predicting matches, we are going to have a question that involves what's going to happen at that particular pay-per-view. Now we'll be predicting that question, and that will go down as a victory or a loss, no matter what. Just like my predictions for who will win the matches. The question this week for the Royal Rumble: who will eliminate the most competitors? Now I am talking about both matches between the women's and the men's. Who will eliminate both? Now last year for the men, it was Brock Lesnar. He eliminated like 13 guys in a row before Drew came out, and Ricochet, and they helped collaborated on a Brock Lesnar elimination. And for the women, it was Bianca Belair. She had her breakout stuff last year. So they thought a lot about Bianca Belair. It was hard to choose between her and Charlotte Flair, but so who's going to have the most eliminations this year? Um, and I'm going to say that the most eliminations this year will be Rhea Ripley. I believe Rhea Ripley, between both the men and the women, Rhea Ripley will have 8 eliminations. I believe Rhea Ripley will be one of the last 4 standing in the ring. She could be part of the last 2 between Rhea and Charlotte. Between her and Charlotte, and then you could see another thing where Rhea gets the championship, and then we have the rematch from WrestleMania. We could see that. We can go the opposite way as well, where Rhea wins and then Charlotte gets the title, and then it's Rhea and Charlotte. We could do all of that. So I'm going to say the women who would eliminate the most competitors. I think it's going to be Rhea Ripley, and that's between both the men's and the women's. Let me explain this. I'm calling it Rhea Ripley. So let's say I'm right, and Rhea Ripley eliminates 8 women. If, for instance, Braun Strowman, who was last night we saw come back and he's entered. If he eliminates 8, right? That's a tie. It's a tie for the most. I'm going to say that is a victory. I'm going to say that is a victory because it's a tie. They're tied for one. But if if Braun Strowman would eliminate 9, then that would be a loss in my book. So that's what I'm going to say. So I'm going to say Rhea Ripley. If Rhea Ripley ties somebody for the most eliminations, and or if she's number 1, then that's a victory for me. If someone beats her, then that's a loss for me. So to recap, Sasha Banks retains her SmackDown title. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler regain the women's tag title. Roman Reigns defeats Kevin Owens for the Universal title. Drew McIntyre retains the WWE Championship. Charlotte Flair wins the Women's Royal Rumble. Daniel Bryan will win the men's. And Rhea Ripley will have the most eliminations between both Royal Rumble matches. So there you have it. My predictions for the 2021 Royal Rumble. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. Again, give me your eliminations. Keep track of them. Let me know how you think about mine. And at the end of the year, we'll see who did a better job, right? Let me not forget last year, 2020, 88 and 33. Unreal. Let's hope I can be even better this year. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to click that notification bell and subscribe. Hit the notification bell because tomorrow night, after the Royal Rumble goes off, I will be doing my rapid reaction where I will be reviewing what went down at Royal Rumble. As always, y'all, be careful out there. Be good to each other. And I am out.